With housing releasing in December the 2nd and Midnight expansion is not too far away, now might be a great time to start preparing. Let's go through what I will prepare before the release and what I recommend you to also do if you want to increase your chances of making millions of gold. Profession ratios have been extremely important in the War Within for certain professions, so what I highly recommend and what I'm doing myself is actually leveling up all the correct races for all the correct professions. So looking at alchemy in the War Within, you could actually use 2 less lure drops when crafting flasks and still get the highest quality of flask. So the +5 skill bonus here from your racial is absolutely huge, and there is no way you can compete to other players when not having the racial for alchemy when doing rank 3 flasks. It's the same for potions, same for vials, and this has been so important, and I actually do believe that we will have a similar system in the Midnight. That is why I think the racials for professions is so important, to actually take the time and level up the correct characters for the correct professions. Since we know that we're gonna have recipes for housing from all different expansions in every single crafting professions, I highly recommend you to also take the additional time to level up your professions in every single expansion. This might feel a bit tedious, it might feel like it will take a bunch of time, but I have actually done this now in the majority of expansions, in the majority of the professions, and it didn't take too long time. However, I have also not been doing the most time-consuming and annoying ones yet, so it's definitely gonna take longer time. For example, looking at Legion, it is going to be the absolute most annoying one to actually finish, but since the Legion one is so much more annoying, I suspect that there will be recipes and stuff in Legion professions that is going to be the most profitable ones, because they are locked behind the highest barrier. Because the easiest recipes from the trainers is probably not going to be that good for the long term in crafting, because everything that we craft for housing seems to be on the region-wide auction house, and if everybody can just go to the trainer and immediately start crafting the item, it is going to be an oversupply and there's going to be no profits because the competition is just going to be massive. So I believe to get the most profitable crafts, you gotta get the most annoying patterns and recipes, and that is most likely going to be locked behind the most annoying expansions to level up. And also, we know that we're gonna get recipes that is locked behind achievements, reputations, and quest lines. So if you want to speculate and try to get stuff prepared, it might be worth it as well to like start doing reputations and stuff, but it's very hard to know what's gonna be good, right? So maybe it will be a waste of time, I'm not really sure. But as I said, I think the real gold mines for housing is going to be the recipes that is locked behind the highest barriers. I also wouldn't sleep on actually leveling up the professions for the War Within and actually getting all of the knowledge points. I'm still working on this on all of my characters now, and after I replace them with new professions on new races, I have actually been needing to do this again on some characters because I have some on the wrong races. But right now I'm trying to skill up all of my professions to get all of the knowledge points, and I do actually believe that we are going to have very good gold opportunities with the War Within crafts in the Midnight expansion. So I would not sleep on still finishing out your the War Within professions, because it is most likely going to be very good to have. And I don't think that you're gonna want to be in the War Within standing at those knowledge point tables doing your daily patron orders when Midnight has launched. So I would prepare it now, and hopefully it will pay off in the future. Guys, I just quickly want to say that we have a Discord community. You should join it. It's linked in the pinned comment and the description. I have a completely free gold making spreadsheet in there. Also giveaways running all the time. So check that out, join the community, and I'll see you in there. Of course, one thing that is really important every time a new expansion releases or something major releases is having enough gold to spend. So I would highly recommend you to actually go get yourself a bunch of gold now before Midnight releases and before housing releases, so you're able to purchase whatever you want. And also, especially for a new expansion launch, if you want to do crafting professions, it is going to cost a lot of gold in the beginning. Of course, the return is going to be insane as well with crafting, but it costs more to craft. So if you sit with very little gold, you might be very limited on how much gold you can actually make in the beginning. You don't want to feel limited when leveling up the professions, like I can't level up this today because I don't have enough gold. That would totally suck in my opinion when a new expansion releases, because that is the best opportunities to make gold. So what I would do is just get as much gold as you can now before midnight, at least a couple of millions. Like, I started the War Within with 1 million gold, and I was actually a bit limited there in the beginning when I wanted to do everything at the same time. So what I highly recommend is to get a couple of millions if it's possible for you to do that, because it is going to be very important if you want to be scaling in the beginning and if you want to be ready to level up your professions, invest, and get a great return. So it is very important to have a lot of gold in the beginning of an expansion as well. Another thing that I think is really important as well, even if you don't want to have all of the different races for all of the different professions, I think it's going to be very good to have a lot of different alts. It is always very powerful to have a lot of different alts, and looking at the War Within, it has been so good doing concentration crafting. People have been going absolutely ham on this. I know people setting up over 200 crafters doing weekly concentration crafts and making so many millions, hundreds of millions over the time of this expansion, and maybe it will be the same in midnight. So if you're interested in going hard into concentration crafting, having a couple of alts prepared might be a very good way. However, Legion Remix is just around the corner right now when recording this video, so that might be a good opportunity to level alts. And usually in the pre-patch before an expansion releases, we get a huge leveling event as well, which is going to allow you to level up really fast. If you guys haven't yet, I think the warband bank distance inhibitor is really good. I know a lot of people still haven't gotten this spell yet. This basically is spawning a portable warbank for you. It is so OP, and you actually get this spell very easy by just going to Tanaris and do a couple of quests here in Jajetsan. It takes you about 15 minutes tops. It's so easy, so fast, and it is so good to always be able to input stuff into your warbank. If you need gold, withdraw. If you need bag space and don't want to deal with it right away, just deposit your chunk into the warbank and deal with that later. It is so good to have. You can even use it in Mythic Plus, etc. if you have forgotten some items. So doing this is an absolute must that you have to do right now. It is so good, and I highly recommend it if you haven't done it yet. Also, on the topic of cleaning your bags, going into a new expansion with bags looking like mine is too much of a mess. So what I highly recommend and what I will do myself when we're getting closer is definitely cleaning up my characters, because they can't be looking like this when we're going to a new expansion. It is always awful to have too much stuff in your bags. It is literally the worst thing that can ever happen when your bags is constantly full. So I highly recommend to just clean up your bags before we get there, so you will have a much easier time going into the new expansion. Maybe it's even worth to do before we get to housing. I'm not really sure how much bag space it's gonna take then, but it's definitely something that I'm gonna check out. I hope you guys enjoyed this little preparation video for midnight and what I will be doing to optimize my gold making and actually have the best opportunities to make a lot of gold when the new expansion releases and when housing comes out. If you want to support me a little bit extra, check out the Patreon in the pinned comment. Also, don't forget to join the community Discord. Thank you so much for watching the video, liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.